hey, I want to do a poll. And maybe we won't find out the data on this episode, but maybe on one of our following episodes. Go to LinkedIn, search for me, Donald C. Kelly. I'll give you a minute. Donald C. Kelly. If you're driving, do this later. Now, go ahead and answer this question in a message to me. Did you receive sales training when you first started at the company you're at? Did you receive sales training when you first started at the company you're at? Now, the reason why I'm asking this, our subject today, we're going to discuss small companies and sales training and training their team, strategies that they can implement to help their team be more effective at selling. And a lot of the companies I work for, you had to figure it out on your own. We are hoping that we can help you to fix that. Listen up. This episode is brought to you in part by TSE Certified Sales Training Program. It's a program designed to help new and struggling sellers improve and take their skills to a whole new level. Get access to the first 2 modules absolutely free. Find more information at thesalesevangelist.com/free course. This episode is also brought to you in part by Sales Success Summit. This year's Sales Success Summit is held in Austin, Texas from October 14th through the 15th. Learn from the top 1%ers in sales, what makes them succeed, and how you can improve. Sign up today at toponesummit.com. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have Tara Bryant. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Tara. Applause, round of applause, round of applause. You're driving in your car? Cool. Tara is the SVP of Global Sales for Pipedrive. Pipedrive is an amazing CRM. If you're not using a CRM, I highly recommend you guys go check out Pipedrive. And Nikki has worked with a lot of small companies. She's seen the problems that happen when it comes towards training your sales team. And she's going to give us some strategies that can help us to make sure we're training our team to be more effective, especially in small organizations. I won't take up too much more time. Nikki has a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, and we're going to dive straight into our conversation. Welcome to the show, Al.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you, man. Thank you. I know you're going to bring us great wisdom today and insights as we're talking about closing questions. Everyone in the sales arena, we want to make sure we're closing effectively, but sometimes we just don't know what to say. So I'm going to tap on you to give us some insights today on that. But before we dive into all of that and you divulge all the good secrets for us, tell us a little bit more about you and what you do, Al.
Yeah, I've been a partner in a construction equipment sales company. We do parts for excavators and bulldozers. And I primarily do all the marketing, and we do sales as well, inside sales primarily, digital marketing to feed as many calls into our call center as possible. It's kind of a unique model for excavator and bulldozer parts, but it's been working for the last 11 years.
Well, dude, that's awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the success you guys are seeing, clearly. And of course, you know something that has worked, and because you guys have been doing it for so long. So I'm excited to hear those insights that you're going to share with us today. But closing questions. I want to tackle your brain on this, man. I need your help. I need it. Al, so many times sales reps they do a great job at finding a prospect and they have a conversation, they learn their pain. But then when it comes down to converting them at the last step, it's like the Seahawks. I'm not sure if you watch football, but several years ago they fumbled at the finish line. How can we improve on that? What are some of the big challenges you see when it comes towards closing?
Yeah, what I notice most with my sales reps and anything else, any other sales reps I connect with, is that you have predisposed kind of ideas about how you even purchase. And it gets in the way most of the time of the process. We've been growing about 70% a year over year. And we've only been able to do that by sticking people with processes, even in the sales seat, to do it in a way that, like you said, feeling the pain, moving to the next step, investigating needs, and then taking that to the close. And most people stop. It could be fear. It could be, well, they're going to reject me, right? Or I wouldn't do that, or that doesn't make sense. In the sense, it stops the action of the process moving forward to the next step. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's primarily what I see people, halting that closing process for is usually their internal struggle that they're dealing with.
It's very interesting. I went through a Sandler sales training program, and that's one of the things that our coach used to bring up all the time that salespeople do. And I was like, oh, come on, that's not that true. And one of the exercises he gave us was, he said, all right, when you go out to buy something, how long does it take you to make a decision? Think about that over the next week. And it was a part of President's Club. So we had a week to try it and so forth. And you know what happened, Al? Went to a restaurant. I think I went to Walmart too. And I took forever to just buy some this as a TV. And in my mind, I'm like thinking, it's a big decision. What if it doesn't work? What if it's not the right one? But there's so many other options. What if I want to get one of these other ones? And then I was like, and when it's all said and done, no matter, I think I've returned a TV once. And the reason was because there was red light, a dot on the flat screen. And obviously that was defective. But for the most part, I didn't return the product. But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to have buyer remorse. Things might not be right. And then he also gave us exercise to do at a restaurant. When you go to a restaurant, you probably pick the same thing over and over. You look through the menu all the time. Just make a decision within a minute. Yeah, and I tried practicing this, and I saw that it made a difference in the way because if I elongate the process, it's the same mentality I'm having with my buyers when they say, well, Donald, I need to wait and think it over. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can think it over.
Yeah, because Donald, you relate to that, right?
Yeah.
That's your thing. But if you're speaking to me and you actually have that as your buying plan and you're basically putting that on me, I'm not that way. I'm extremely decisive. I do not need to think more than a minute about anything. It's probably my downfall or it could be my success. But absolutely, there are many different decision types in the process that they take. And so, knowing your customer through the pain, needs, and being completely open to the different decision styles and not putting your own fear or your own concern or worry or rejection, whatever it might be stopping you, into their place. Because, I think you really need to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. You just have to. And if you're able to do that empathetically, you can see from their eyes and their view. But if I got a client that is in need of something, say they have an equipment that's worth $500,000 or $1 million, and they need a $50,000 part. We deal with this type of thing every day. I have a rep that says, wow, $50,000 is a lot of stinking money. Boy, I get why you want to think about it. But no, right? If I have a $500,000 machine, that's making $5,000 an hour. And every hour it's down, right? I need that money somewhere, right? It's coming from somewhere. I'm either renting it, I'm paying it somewhere else. So, I'm trying to change the perspective of my sales reps to think like the people they're talking to, rather than imposing their own fears or views or concerns or buying styles on them, right? And that's the first hurdle.
Yeah, and the interesting thing with that too is I sold a software that was $50,000 when I first started selling. Bro, I grew up poor. So $50,000, that's like double what my mom would make in a year growing up as a kid. So you're telling me $50,000 and these guys would come and spend this much on software, and then we had a course, and they would spend like 10 grand on a course over the course of a weekend because that would help them. But if you think about it, going back to what you're saying, if I have that limited mindset, I am really, really hindering and pulling my company back, because for that person, 10 grand is like a no brainer. 10 grand is helping me make 200,000 a year. So I'll do that in a heartbeat. But yeah,
exactly. And obviously to be able to close in that manner, you have to do the right things up front. Yeah. As you know, and I know you talk about this as well, you have to do the whole process. You have to feed the pain. You have to investigate and drag out what are the real concerns? What are the things that, I can push by that aren't necessarily, roadblocks or objections? What are the things that I can overcome or even prove? Can I make a value proposition? Can I do any of these type of things? I love sales because it's like an art, and you're dealing with people's psychology and helping them move through the process as much as you can. But too many people get hung up with their own, viewpoints, and you just shed those. You can make a good, logical business decision for and with somebody. And even if they're concerned, remind them about the things that are logical, that do matter, that are emotional as well. And they'll relate to that even better. For instance, that $50,000 example I mentioned, hey, a machine makes $5,000 an hour and it's down. Well, what else is there? There's an operator. He's not able to work. there's people on the ground that are not able to do the other processes in that job. There might be a deadline, and mostly with deadlines with construction, there's penalties if you pass that deadline. I mean, there's a lot on the line that, just the average rep might not think about because they're not in that particular world. So I really love knowing about, the industry that I'm dealing with or the people that I'm dealing with. I think that's the first step to close, is if you can just put yourself in that person's shoes better and just, eliminate those fears or worries.
Hey, I know it's going really well, but we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, Tara is going to pick up where we left off and continue to share with you ideas that you can implement to help train your small business sales team. You're listening to the Sales Evangelist podcast, and I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. Way too often we find sales reps who become lethargic in their career. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, you've been there too. You just go into the slump and you feel like you can't get out. You're not closing deals, no new opportunities. And it's just blah. What I've seen to help me at that point is obviously listen to podcasts like this, read books, but also attend events where I can connect with other sellers. People who could challenge me, people who could bring new ideas and new thoughts. And that's why I recommend everyone to check out Sales Success Summit. The neat thing about this event is that you get a chance to connect with other top 1%ers, people who are doing amazing in sales. Learn from them. What's making them succeed? What's causing them to get out of their rut? How did they elevate to the status they're at right now in their companies? If you are serious about earning six figures as a sales rep, I highly recommend you go to top1summit.com. Again, top1summit.com and register to attend the event. Last year, one of the attendees, a sales rep for a small company, went to the event. He networked with other top sellers. Since then, he landed a position at Teradata where he closed a huge deal. Now he's receiving a multi-six-figure commission check from it, all because he went where iron sharpens iron. If you want to learn from the best, go to top1summit.com and register today. This episode is also brought to you in part by TSE Certified Sales Training Program. As a young seller, I just didn't have it. I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have any help, and I had to figure things out on my own. Luckily, I was able to take part in a group training course. Not long after the course, I started to see a hockey stick in my sales performance, and I knew the stuff worked. So I started to talk about it and share the advice and ideas, and I said in the future, whenever I create something, it's going to be similar to that. And that's how we've designed TSE Certified Sales Training Program. To get the first two modules of the course for free, go to thesalesevangelist.com/free course. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/free course. When you register and become a member, you will get the other 10 modules, as well as access to our community of other sales reps that you can connect with and join conversation with each week. Find more information again, go to thesalesevangelist.com/free course. Hey, we're back, and we're going to pick up where we left off and continue with some of the strategies that Tara started outlining that can help you and your team to become successful. Well, let's go to the questions, because we set it up pretty good here. Some of the top questions that you've seen, closing questions that we should be asking as a sales rep. Do you mind sharing some of those with us?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. First off, we do closing styles. There's several that we kind of work through in our process at work in our office. And the first one is the assumptive close. All right. It's extremely easy. We would pick anything that's a standard, in, say, information collection or furthering the process to finalize things. Anything that's very standard. It could be like in our area, a shipping or delivery location, or how you wanted to pay for it. Was it going to be with a check or a money order? Well, usually it's like a wire transfer or something like that, or even a credit card is probably 95% of the time. Picking anything that's a normal step to the next process of finalizing an order, you just choose that and you assume that that's the next information that you have to collect and continue down the process, almost assuming that we're finished after you've spoken the solution, right? So it's really simple. People overlook it. It works most of the time. In fact, I've implemented the assumption process with this type of thing, and I've taken industry close, and our industry is about 10 to 15%, and we've gotten it up to 25% with just this close. So, it almost doubles your results, right? In our industry, there's not a lot of sales-centric or thought of the process and taking people through that. So just implementing this simple assumptive close, it's not even an ask almost, right? It just is like saying, hey, where did you want me to deliver that? And when did you want that delivered? And, how did you want to pay for that when you're ready? Is it going to be a MasterCard or is it going to be a wire transfer? It's just whatever is normal in your process, filling out that form and going through will actually feed, I would say, almost a doubling effect of what you would get otherwise, right? It takes the walls down of an event, right? A close should not be an event. And that's what most sales reps think. They think they have to ask a question. And then after that, that's we're going to shake hands and hug or, spit in our hands or, be blood brothers. That's not how it works. If you've done the work up front, if you've investigated, you've built a rapport, you've uncovered the pain, and you've laid out a solution with all that information that is logical, emotionally fulfilling, you should be able to just collect the information most of the time, right? And again, that's the first step, right? That's my most effective close. And again, it is so simple. Me even saying it to you, you're like, well, why is he bringing this up?
No.
But that's exactly what I say. So many people, half the sales reps out there, discount that concept. They think it has to be an event, especially new reps to the world of sales.
Oh, yeah.
But it should be just a natural thing. If you've done all the work up front, the close is part of that. And it's really an assumption that it's done.
I love it. So that one we can definitely try that. Give us another one that we can take advantage of and try.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I use basically, if I get an objection in my assumption close, right? It could be something, well, I got to think about it, right? There's only 3 or 4 things that I hear from any people on the phone and maybe in any industry. It's usually about money. It's about time. It's about matching a quality or something of that nature. And if they say something like, oh, I want to think about it, right? I want to uncover, because that's such an obscure concept, I want to uncover what of the 3 or 4 things I normally get to, which is either price, time, delivery, or maybe value and quality. I want to get to that. So I'll basically, when I hear that, I'll think about it, or I have to talk to someone. So I'll either say, what did you want to think about? And I'll give them 1 or 2 of those choices, right? It's very simple. What did you want to think about? Was it the price or the time that you're getting it? What's more important? And I'll be quiet and I'll look for the answer out of them. And hopefully, again, that I'll think about it turns into what they're going to think about. And I've given them a couple lead-ins, right? Because I only hear 3 or 4 objections that are really, we can hone down to, and they'll pick one most of the time. Now, if they don't, they just say, I want to think about it. Again, a lot of people don't like to get into that. And then what I notice in that situation is that they're holding their cards, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to show them, right? Most people don't buy something as expensive like this every day. So, they're not used to this back and forth negotiation or whatever it might be. So, I might share in that particular situation, an example. I would say something about, hey, if I was in your situation, or I understand, and I would say, if I was in your situation, I'd want to think about it too. And then I would go through this couple things that I think are holding them back, right? And I would feed into my example. There's many examples of previous customers I can bring up and those type of things to allow them to know, hey, most people go through this process and this is what they found. And I'm using all the pain points that I've discovered. It could be, again, a delivery situation. It could be, money, budget. It could be anything that they brought up. I can only afford this, or I was looking for that. Whatever it is, maybe some attributes of value, or it has to be certain specs. Whatever it is, I'm bringing those things into line that my solution covers. And I'm going for the assumption again. So anything I ever do, I always say, hey, so where did you want me to get that delivered? I know it's important to get there on Friday and I can get it done. And I usually am quiet after that and I'm waiting for their response. And I try not to be pushy. I'm trying to just make this a conversation and I want to wait for their response because there's different buying styles. Some people like to think about it and they need 10 seconds to say yes versus somebody that says, a decisive person like me that'll say yes in a minute or in a second, right? So I don't know if that makes sense for your next line of questioning, but it's again, after the assumption, I go in for kind of an either or question, digging deeper beyond what they just said as an objection, because usually that objection is not the truth or it's just a reaction. And I just want to dig deeper.
So darn true on that, man. I've seen it. I've seen that one so many times where they give you the surface level problem when it's truly not the real issue. And I'm a salesperson, so I've done it to other salespeople.
Absolutely. I mean, uncovering objections, uncovering reasons why not are really our job. It's not viewed as that. Usually sales reps are, even get into the industry. I interview a lot of sales reps. I ask why you think you can do this. And they say, oh, I can talk well and relate to people. And I don't think that really makes a good sales rep is being able to talk well. It has to be almost a tenacity to understand, to get down to the reasons, to investigate, and you know what I mean? To have that result at the end because of your interaction with somebody. Just being able to conversate with somebody doesn't lead to a sale, right? It just doesn't. You have to have a purpose and, again, a process. That's what we definitely do at our office.
Dude, so neat, man. I love that idea. Well, we talked about the assumptive close. We talked about this going deeper. Is there one more piece of advice that you give us, one more question that you typically use or your team use that helps you guys to stand out and close a little bit more deals?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say what most people don't realize is the technology that you can utilize, right, while closing. So this is literally in our sales process. Yeah. While we're going from in solution to the close, I have every sales rep connect with my customer in a way that they will actually be surprised by. It'll almost be a building effect of value while you're going through the assumption close, while you're going through anything else. And it might be, most people, if I tell you what it is in a second, you'd be like, wow, that might be stopping up the process or something, but it doesn't. So what we have everybody do is this. Again, we're inside sales, so we have computer screens in front of us. We have a lot of technology. I have them text their invoice, right, to the customer while talking to them, right? And then I also have them, because we work with technical drawings, I also have them email and text pictures of what they're going to be getting, right, while they're actually going through the close, okay? And while going through the close, you can even weave in, and, you probably have on your phone, what you're going to be getting, and they look at it and they're like, yeah, oh crap, it just came in a text. Is that you? I mean, and they get wowed, like, oh my goodness, is this even possible? He's like, and we put a little joke in there to lighten it up. Like, yeah, I can see that you're wearing your favorite tie today too, or, oh, your hair looks nice, But because, people discount the idea of doing that. They think, oh, it's too much, right? But no, I mean, every customer appreciates it. We have a 93 to 95% success rate, or not success rate, sorry. We have a 93 to 95 happy rate in our customer service because people love how attentive we are in the whole process. And I even ask them about the closing process when we do surveys. And they felt, I have one of the questions or the answers they can select is they felt like they were treated like family. That's the one that most people pick, right? They pick, treated like family. And that's something that we strive for, right? So I don't want to make, even though we might do all these different closing styles, pressure closes, assumptive closes, either or questions, all these styles, I just want to create a certain situation that is very natural, right? And having that little extra, while I'm talking to them, while I'm actually going through the closing process of on their phone or on their computer, they're getting the actual information that they need. It's official. It looks, oh man, I moved through the process. Oh, that's what I'm getting. It looks like that. Delivery is there. All my contact, I even have them send VCF, files. So they have on their phones all connection to our reps, direct lines to be able to text back. And they get wowed by that. And most of the time, you get an extra closing percentage. We've actually tested this because we love counting numbers at our business. From the time we started this, right, this process of adding these extra little pieces of information while we close, we actually have increased closing ratio in that arena by 20%.
Wow.
It went from 25 to 45. All right. So I'm amazed by these type of little things. And those tests of those particular numbers are done under 1 or 2 reps, to see. Yeah. We don't continue counting them once we get to a roundabout figures to prove to ourselves these things are valuable. But I would say, in a sense, you're using technology, you're using something like, again, text messaging. We do video messaging, things like that, just like send a quick video, even when we're trying to swoon a customer. These things are being used by their friends, their moms, their wives, their kids are texting them. They feel more, less guarded. Their walls come down. Email used to be like that 10 or 15 years ago. Now it's not at all. Emails get put to spam and clutter. But the text messages seem to be that kind of edge that we can have. And most people call us on their cell phones. They're out in the field. That's just our business model. So they're out in the field, their hands are greasy, they want to talk to somebody, and we can be their saving grace, hopefully. So that's kind of what we do in that arena. I know it's not a closing question, but it adds to the close better than anyone else in our industry right now.
Man, that's fabulous, Dom. I love it. Dude, if there's one major piece of advice, one major question, or one major advice you'd want to give to someone listening to this episode, what's that one major piece of advice you'd give?
Yeah, don't think closing is an event. I mean, I said it earlier, but that is it. You have to start from rapport and know the game you're playing, and I don't want it to be ungenuine, but it has to be a process that you are moving forward through, that you're covering all the bases, because everyone's the same. Your sale is the same. You can bring up all these different variables, but it really comes down to a few things. You can definitely hone it down to just a few things that you can master, and you can answer, and you can build all the technical type of stuff that's needed for value building, or you can build all of the logistical stuff that's for delivery. It's all very simple though. So don't complicate it, and keep that part of the whole process from the beginning. Know that you're closing from the very start.
Man, love it, man. Well, if folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to go about connecting with you? Yeah,
well, conequip.com. That's there. We also have a podcast ourselves called Selling for Life. .com. It's sellingforlife.com. And we kind of share some ideas about our entrepreneurial journey. We've gone from 0 employees to 50 in the last 10 years. We've gone from 0 sales to 30 million a year, and mostly done through Google marketing and things of that nature. So we kind of become inside experts on Google marketing and AdWords and those type of things. So you can connect with us there. And my email is al@conequip.com if you want to connect with me. I'm very open. If you want to, get directly to me, you can. But we'd love to hear any questions or anything that we can help people with. We want to further along entrepreneurs and sales reps like yourself.
Well, man, Al, we truly appreciate your generosity today and you taking the time to come on the show, the wisdom that you brought. I'm grateful for it, man. And thank you so much. If you guys haven't heard, man, he's been listening to our show for quite some time now. And it's cool to hear how, he's grown with our community as well. And thank you so much, man, for being here this whole time.
Yeah, I appreciate what you do. Keep going, man. It's exciting.
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
All right. You take care.
Hey, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and connect with Tara on LinkedIn. You can find all the information in our show notes. TheSalesEvangelist.com/word episode number 1173. Again, TheSalesEvangelist.com/word episode, then the number 1173. Also, while you're on the show notes, make sure to check out some of the resources that Tara mentioned. I really want you guys to find a benefit from using it, but you got to make sure you check them out. Maybe the CRM you're using is not quite up to par. Go ahead and check out Pipedrive. Take them for a test drive. I've used it and I know it's a great quality tool. I want you guys to test it out yourself. Find again all the links and all the information back in the show notes. Also, make sure to check out Sales Success Summit. Learn from the 1%ers, the people who are crushing it in sales. Find out what they're doing that's working so darn well to help them to be successful. Register for the event. Also, check out TSE Certified Sales Training Program. Would love to have you join our new semester, which begins in September. My goal is simple. I want to help you each and every single day to find more ideal customers. I want you to have more meaningful conversations and to be confident in building value. I want you to close more deals, but most importantly is to change your mindset and encourage you to go out and do big things. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the episode today as much as I did. And if so, I ask that you leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you find fine podcasts. Also, if you haven't done so already, why don't you go ahead and hit subscribe? Show your friends, your colleagues how they can subscribe as well. I will greatly appreciate you doing that. Thank you. My birthday is in the month of August. That could be your birthday gift to me. A nice review and rating on Apple Podcasts. I would truly, truly, truly be grateful for that. Our show today was produced by myself and the Sales Podcast Network. It was edited and mixed together by the one and only Jershino Bale. Our graphic designer is Mr. Desin Cunado. Our show note was created by the one and only Miss Rael. Our guest coordinator is Mrs. May Marr. Our podcast production manager is Mrs. Shannon Rasmussen. You can find audio credits to this and all of our episodes in the show notes. And as always, I am your host, your coach, your mentor, your guide down the sales journey, Mr. Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. Sales Podcast Network.